It's another day, the sun is shining. It's another day, the sun is shining. It's another day, the sun is shining. Got to know what's going on around you. Wake up, it's the time to motivate your mind. Come with me, let's make this moment brighter. Wake up with the Bahamas and sunrise. Come on and wake up with the Bahamas and sunrise. Wake up with the Bahamas and sunrise. Wake up with the Bahamas and sunrise.
Good morning and welcome to Bahamas at Sunrise. We're up dead early on another fantastic Friday, and we're so happy that you can join us. My name is Mark Daniels.
And I'm Gabrielle Gardner, and a happy Friday to you.
I hope that you all stayed dry this week. It seems like the sky decided to come down to earth just on Nassau, because between the rain and the thunder and the lightning and the flooding, this was a pretty active week.
Yeah, I woke up on Wednesday like, who forgot to tell me about the hurricane? There were winds howling outside. I was like, what? Did I miss a memo?
Yeah.
But yeah, it was very dramatic. And then it just, in true Bahamian form, it was very, very dramatic. And then it went away.
And then it went away, right?
Relatively shortly after.
It's like you were in the east and it was a hurricane, and then you drive west and it was a beach day. So it was inconsistent, but man, that flooding that was on the road, just reminded everybody, just take your time on the road. There are unseen potholes, sinkholes, you have even blue holes in some of these roads. So be careful when you're driving, take your time, be gracious to the other drivers, because everybody just trying to get to where they're going safely.
Yes, yesterday or last night, I went to see the new Barbie movie with my friends at the Island House, and getting there was kind of like, all right, guys, is this worth it? It was like The Amazing Race, but it was great. We got to spend some time together, and we all dressed up in our pink. I think that still has me in the pink spirit today. But getting there was a little challenging.
Yeah, made you question your life decisions.
Yeah, yeah, actually, and it's funny because in the movie, Barbie has an existential crisis, and I think I had one on the way there.
Yeah, I personally, when it rains, I like to keep still. I think in the Bahamas we should have a rain day, like how Canada gets a snow day. We should have rain days where they just cancel everything. We get to stay home and stay in bed, right?
I think there was like a half rain day just about everywhere. There were quite a few businesses that closed, including ours. We closed about an hour or two early to make sure people could get home because of the rain. I think people take it for granted. Of course, we joke around like, oh, why do you need a rain day? But when the roads are so filled with water, and it could cause your car to stall, it is one of those things that becomes a safety concern.
So pack your water boots and your flippers and your snorkel and goggles, unless Godfrey tells us that the rain is done. We'll find out from that in our weather segment. Before we go on, I just want to wish my parents happy anniversary, celebrating their anniversary all this week, 47 years of marital bliss. I love you both. Thank you so much for everything you've done for me, my brother, and my sister. It's because of you that I'm sitting here. And so the Bahamas thanks you, Mom and Dad. Wonderful marriage. You set the tone, and I wish to be like you, and you guys are my superheroes.
It's very heartwarming.
Love you, Mom and Dad. Happy anniversary. Let's go on. We have an exciting show coming up. We're going to find out how you can receive an education in healthcare from the Doctors Hospital Institute of Learning. Also, Edwin, Thompson, and Fabian Fernander are here to talk about the FOCOL Smartpass app.
Also in today's show, Karlos Mackey is here to discuss the energy reform in our Economic Pulse segment. And Donrica Burrows stopped by to tell us a little bit about her music career and perform in our summer entertainment series. But first, let's check on weather with Godfrey Burnside.
Weather at Sunrise, brought to you by NUA, the hands-on agency.
Thank you, Gabrielle. Good morning, Bahamas. And yeah, first look at the weather at sunrise. Yes, Mark, it was a dead wet week, but the weekend looks lovely for you, Max. Lots of sunshine, hot and humid conditions. I hope you can take that one. Still have that surface trough across the islands, and that's the west of us, and continue to move towards the west. So most of the activity will move out sometime during the morning hours. High pressure will build across the islands throughout the weekend. So today, we're looking at variable cloudiness, still hot and humid. You can expect a few scattered showers, isolated thunderstorms, mainly across the northwest and central Bahamas. That's from Grand Bahama to Exumas. High temperature 91, heat index 104. Tonight, partly cloudy again, warm, with a few nighttime showers, isolated thunderstorms, mainly across the northwest Bahamas. That's from Grand Bahama to Providence. Low going down to 80 degrees Fahrenheit. And some regional highs and lows across the Caribbean. Barbados 88 and 79. In Jamaica 91 and 81. In Trinidad 89 and 78. And the Turks and Caicos Islands 91 and 80. Across North America, Atlanta 96 and 73. In Boston 92 and 73. In Miami 90 and 82. Dallas, Texas 179. And Toronto, Canada 86 and 69. As you go to the weekend, high pressure builds across the islands. Mostly moves through. Could have 1-2 showers by afternoon. Partly sunny skies, hot and humid. The temperature daytime will be around 90 degree mark. At nighttime in the upper 70s to lower 80s. That picture up your first look at the weather at sunrise. I'm Godfrey Burnside. Back to you, Gabrielle.
Thanks, Godfrey. The IBD, a multilateral lender, recently released a paper that praised fuel hedging initiatives launched under the former Minnis administration. This groundbreaking strategy was hailed as highly effective and promised a brighter future for Bahamian businesses and households. However, within just 9 months, the Bahamian economy witnessed a staggering 71% in energy rates. Joining me now to discuss this is Karlos Mackey, Executive Director and President of MoneyMax and President of Prime Financing. Good morning and welcome back to the show.
Good morning, Gabrielle. How are you?
I'm very well.
Excellent.
We
Thanks
know
for
that you
having
are
me.
no stranger to us here
Absolutely.
at Bahamas at Sunrise. So, what were the key factors that initially led to the dramatic savings on fuel costs for BPL as acknowledged by the Inter-American Development Bank in its fuel hedging initiative?
So I think anytime you talk about fuel hedging, obviously for a non-producer country, a fuel hedge is definitely an important thing for us. We've been in an environment and an era for the most part over the last several years where energy costs, particularly crude oil and its product-derived costs have been rising. We can actually see that from the gas pump, right? So we came out of an era where you're talking about $3, $4 at the pump, and now you're at the place where we've seen at some points the high $5, right? And some points $6 plus. We're back into the high fives, but that kind of gives you an indication of where energy prices are globally. So when you have a fuel hedge in place, that actually makes sure that your energy costs don't go above a certain perspective. So that really, having that cap, as it were, on the potential costs for electricity, well, really the electricity that would be derived from, again, fossil fuel, that actually was a beneficial thing for the Bahamian consumer. We saw that for a good while. Unfortunately, the hedge program was not continued for reasons that have not necessarily been, I guess, explicated properly, but it definitely was effective during the time that it was used.
So we're talking about a 71% increase in costs. What does that mean for Bahamian families and businesses?
I think, unfortunately, for a lot of Bahamian families, that is the difference between being behind on your rent, not being able to afford summer vacation in some respects, or not being able, in even some other respects, to have a level of comfort with their food situation in their homes. It's a very real thing for those that, in some respects, don't meet the threshold. And a lot of people feel as though, the government has a lot of things in place for families that are at a particular level. The issue is always, what if you're the family whose income is right above that level, right? And you just miss the cutoff. For those families, there's a lot of pain, unfortunately, and I do think and I hope that we are going to find some ways to help them to find some relief. For businesses, obviously, this is not necessarily the best thing to have happen. Yes, there is some robustness in the economy as far as a post-COVID rebound. However, all of these costs, particularly energy costs, which is something that you can't do without, if you can't adjust your energy costs downward, or if there's no stability in your energy costs, obviously you start to look elsewhere. And a lot of times, unfortunately, you look at variable costs, and one of the most, I would say, let me not say most, but one of the costs, unfortunately, that a lot of employers look at is, let me look at labor. So I do think, unfortunately, we are at a place where both households and businesses are going to be making very difficult decisions that don't necessarily lend to the economy staying as robust as it needs to be.
So without, I guess, pre-qualifying it, or just based off of the nature of our conversation, it would seem like you are a proponent of fuel hedging.
So insofar as we have not begun a serious transition towards renewables, I do think fuel hedging is absolutely important. We need to be able to utilize a strategy like fuel hedging because, again, when we think about our nation, we have to look and say, okay, let's have a plan, and we can have a debate around what form a national development policy takes, but at least around, even if we said we had a national energy policy, even if it's only for the 5 years of any particular government, a national energy policy would allow us to say, okay, here's our plan for our term, this is what we're going to do, and if you publish that, as we would call it, let's say at the beginning of your term, you pursue that, even in the event that there's not necessarily a, what I would call a lot of savings because of, let's say the price of oil went down, at least folk know that there's not going to be a risk of things going more above what they would have projected. So it allows business even to be able to project what their prospective energy costs are going to be over that 5-year period. Again, you would like to see a national energy policy that's a part of a national development plan that probably takes what we would call a look at a 25-year period. But we understand that we are still a maturing country, and even the baby steps of having a 5-year energy policy in this environment would be beneficial for us.
How can policymakers strike a balance between short-term economic interests and the long-term goals of sustainable energy?
So I think we have to be a little bit more creative in our thinking around this. If you have persons whose bills have gone up from, let's say, $300 a month to now maybe $750 a month, and
I have a story to tell.
and if most of that ends up being a fuel surcharge, that says that fuel surcharge is technically a tax, right? It's essentially a fossil fuel tax. It is more sensible in my perspective for us to say, okay, let's actually balance short-term and long-term. And what do I mean by actually balancing it? If we look at a conversion towards renewables, and we, again, national energy policy, we say, okay, does it make sense for us to put maybe some kind of large-scale solar farm in Central Andros? Follow the same pathway for DC, for a DC cable that the BTC lines run. You don't have to reinvent the wheel as far as how you're going to run the cable along the ocean floor, right? That's something that we can do. But at the same time, rooftop solar. When you take a look at that, you're actually causing, in the short term, employment to actually escalate. Because if you have rooftop solar and you do something like using BTVI to get young persons qualified to do rooftop solar, right? You now skill them up, and in the short term, you're creating a new industry. So I'm of the view that both for long term and short term, a deliberate transition to solar that incorporates a particular mix where you say every new house that's built in New Providence and in the Family Islands, for instance, across the country, has to have some solar component. That in and of itself forces us immediately to have a solar industry, But if you also say you go ahead and you develop some kind of solar plant, maybe in Andros, and I continue to say Andros because I don't think that New Providence is the answer for us to have a large solar facility. The space in Andros allows us to do a couple of things. One, if you build a large solar facility in Andros, you now have to have the infrastructure around that in terms of staffing and so forth, so you force some development into Andros. And Andros should be someplace that we're looking at developing sensibly. It should be both agricultural farming and energy farming in Andros. The second thing about it is it allows for future expansion, not just expansion of solar power energy to New Providence, but also for Andros in and of itself, right? We need to have more reliability of power on the Family Islands, and I think we can use Andros as a model for how we get that done. Andros is close enough to New Providence that it can help with the problem here, but if we want Andros to be an engine for economic growth into the future, we have to take a look at that. So again, rooftop solar and forcing, as it were, every new home that's renovated, if you get a building permit to do anything, that building permit should be contingent upon you having some kind of solar energy aspect to it. And again, if we're going to force people to pay a fuel surcharge, I would rather we spend that $150 million in aggregate because we are paying for it.
Hello. Yeah.
We need to go ahead and say, you know what, let's leap into renewables wholeheartedly and stop kind of giving it what I would call a very half-hearted effort.
I couldn't agree with you more. There's so much that I want to dive in about this conversation, but we are out of time. I do want to clarify one thing. So is it possible for us to have an energy facility in Andros that helps to power New Providence?
Absolutely.
And how do you do that?
All right, so what for...
sorry, in a nutshell. 'Cause
Yes, no problem. What you would have to do is look at, listen, the acreage is there and available. You have some parts of central Andros that are what I would call barren land that is not usable for much else. That land can be scarified, thousands of acres there in central Andros. Those who are from Andros know exactly where I'm talking about. You can scarify that land. You can run what they call a direct current cable so that it's a lot of power that you're sending. So you can run a direct current cable to Western New Providence, have a station that actually receives that current, and then that would then be supplied to the power grid here. It's happening in other parts of the world.
That is incredible. I didn't even know that was possible, and I feel like I got smarter. Every time we talk, I feel like I get more intelligence. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you, Gabrielle.
And thank you for watching Bahamas at Sunrise. We'll be right back.
Meet Leno, your bridge to the future. Wealth planning, investments, corporate services, trust services, pension administration, fund administration, outsourced accounting, and payroll. When you think of financial solutions, think of Leno. Local or international, company or individual, Leno can help. Our team of skilled professionals has the experience and expertise needed for you to strive. Your goals are our goals and our priority. Leno will guide you to the right financial solution with the knowledge, resources, and support you need. Give us a call at 242-396-3225 or email us at info@lenobahamas.com to get started. Visit our website, www.lenobahamas.com, for more information today. Leno, your bridge to the future.
Attention customers, next Tuesday, a major hurricane will cause complete confusion and chaos throughout the entire Bahamas. Water, phone, and internet services will be in short supply. Definite data loss is expected to all local and Family Island businesses.
Disasters don't plan ahead, but you can. Be ready with push-to-talk service that keeps you connected with your workforce with a simple push of a button. Contact the experts today at 601-8911 in Nassau or 602-8811 in the Family Island.
Welcome back to Bahamas at Sunrise. This morning we are joined by the lovely ladies of IOL talking about their upcoming fall semester courses at Doctors Hospital Institute of Learning. We are joined by the director, Christina Anderson, as well as our admissions and enrollment officer, Ms. Cliora Newbold. Welcome to the show, ladies.
Thank you for having us.
Good morning.
Awesome.
Thank you for having us here.
So, Ms. Anderson, tell us a little bit about what's new at Doctors Hospital's Institute of Learning.
Sure, Alexis, no problem. Well, you know, at Doctors Hospital, we are always known for being innovative, creative. So for this upcoming fall semester, along with the courses and programs that we have traditionally offered, we plan to bring some new ones on stream, such as our scrub technician program, our medical billing and coding, our IV technician program, and of course, because we don't want anyone to feel left out. So we have our academic enrichment program for persons who may have some deficiencies, and we just have to work along with them to bring them up so that they are able to enroll in our program and achieve definitely their personal and academic goals.
And the scrub tech is somebody who can go and work into the operating room?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Awesome. I might be interested in that. All right. Ms. Newbold, what exact courses are you offering this semester at IOL?
Yeah, so for the fall semester, we are offering about 13 courses.
Wow.
They are our emergency medical technician, as most people know it as EMT. We have our pharmacy technician, our phlebotomy technician, IV certification, which is new, as well as our scrub technician. Then we have our administrative programs, so that is our certified medical administrative assistant, as well as our medical billing and coding, that is also new. Then we also have our general medical program, so that covers our comprehensive medical terminology and anatomy and physiology. And so our last program is our academic enrichment program. And under that category, we have 4 extra programs. So that covers our English, maths, science, as well as computer studies.
Awesome. So now, Christina mentioned scrub tech and you mentioned IV. So I get to learn how to stick people, and I can learn so I can go in the OR. That's correct?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Sounds good. All right, so Ms. Anderson, obviously medical and allied health fields require a lot of hands-on experience. How does IOL provide practical training and clinical exposure for your students?
Okay, very, very important, especially as we want to embrace competency-based education. So along with the theoretical component that students would complete for our programs, we also offer the practical component to be covered, and that can take place in many spaces. We have our skills and our simulation lab that provide feedback. It has feedback devices built in to provide responses to students. We also have our lab that is available for students to go and practice their skills. We also allow for students to go into the clinical area to have that real-time hands-on experience for our patients and our clients in the hospital, in our clinics throughout the islands. So therefore, they get that hands-on experience all around.
Okay. So if I was doing the IV program, would it be your arm that I'm practicing on, or we have like a crash test dummy? How does that work?
Oh, we have the modules for persons to be able to practice on, but they still do have to practice on real people.
Okay,
so persons are able to get their friends and their relatives in, of course, with consent.
Right.
And with supervision, most definitely, to be able to get their skills and their hours in.
Sounds good. So obviously now, anybody who's been through, educational systems here and across the world, we know recruitment and admissions can be sometimes an arduous process. So Ms. Newbold, I know that's your area of expertise. How do you guys make the experience smooth and that process easy for people to enroll in courses at IOL?
Well, we first start with our recruitment process. So that is us going out to our different areas, such as high schools, health fairs, job fairs, such like that. And then once we interact with the community, we always direct them to our webpage. And once they go into our webpage, they apply for our courses, and then they submit the application. Simple process. Once they have submitted their applications, then now it's my job to review all those applications and then get back to the students, let them know if they have been accepted, or if we will have to now put them into their academic enrichment program. I don't believe in denying anybody. I just believe in now, hey, you got to take an extra step before you start your desired course.
But it sounds like you guys take a very hands-on approach to managing people through that process. Yeah. I remember sitting on very long lines in a certain college back in the day for hours from the crack of dawn. Anyway, we won't talk about that. So Obviously, education is an interesting space to work in. So I'm asking both of you this question. What has been your most rewarding part of being involved in the Institute of Learning? So I'll start with you, Christina, and then we'll go to Ms. Newbold.
Most rewarding part. This is an example of my most rewarding part. You know, being able to see students who pass through our various programs be able to move on and impact society, the community, the country at large. So I am delighted when I am able to see students who enroll in our program that they are able to move on in their professional careers, obtain jobs, advance different careers in different departments, and establish change. And that is a positive reflection on what we are doing here at Doctors Hospital Institute of Learning, because we are creating a group of change agents who would go there and go against the grain, you know? So yes.
Awesome. Sounds great.
Yeah.
For me, my most rewarding experience would have to be listening to my students when they apply, tell me their stories. I had a student who was a part of Dorian, and she states how she has no internet, no electricity, and her goal was always to become a pharmacy technician. And so for her, applying was her first step. And when I sent her our acceptance letter, she was like, oh, thank you. You don't know how long I have been wanting to do this. And so I am looking forward, in about a month they finish, to see her walking across the stage for her certificate.
That's awesome. And you know, it's amazing because it sounds like, you know, you guys go there and change people's lives so then they could go out and change other people's lives, and you get that ripple effect into the community, right? That it sounds absolutely amazing. So obviously, you know, you come on a show like this, the one thing that people all want to know is, where do I go to find more information? Where do I go to sign up? So can you tell our viewers at home where they can do that?
Okay, sure, no problem. So our viewers, thank you again for just being on with us today. And to enroll in our program, to find out more about our programs, I encourage you to visit our website at doctorshosp.com. Okay, and once you get on that website, I want you to click on the tab, find a course, and that will direct you to IOL's webpage, where you can scroll through various courses and determine what is best for you. The contact number is 302-4615. Again, thank you.
Thank you. And thank you both for waking up and being out here so early with us this morning and telling us all about the Doctors Hospital Institute of Learning. It's been a pleasure to have you on.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Awesome. So again, if you're watching at home and you're interested in taking a course at Doctors Hospital Institute of Learning, you can visit the website, doctorshosp.com, and click Take a Course, or you can call them at 302-4615. Thank you again, ladies, for being on. Thanks for watching. This is Bahamas at Sunrise. We'll be right back.
Introducing the FOCOL Smartpass app that helps you to fuel up faster. Here's how it works. Download the app on the App Store or get it on Google Play and create your profile with payment details. Visit your nearest Shell station, open the app, scan the pump's QR code, select your payment amount, and begin fueling. Say goodbye to cash and cards because the FOCOL Smartpass offers secure and convenient payment options right at your fingertips. Download FOCOL Smartpass now and fuel up faster today.
With so much going on in the world today, only accepting cash at your business can be risky. Let Fidelity offer you and your customers safety, convenience, and the flexibility of a fixed or mobile terminal. Take it with you, on the move and on the go, because business should never stop. For more details, speak to one of our business development officers at 356-7764 in Nassau or 352-6676 in Freeport. Visit our website at fidelitygroup.com or visit us at any of our branches.
Here are three young people who stopped attending high school and got disengaged in their educational journey due to the pandemic. Today, they are proudly taking their walk all over the place because they took advantage of BTVI's Smart Start initiative. All high school students in New Providence and the Family Islands can participate in free hands-on learning to improve employability. Learn basic literacy and numeracy skills and earn a BTVI certificate in automotive mechanics, beauty and construction trades, or fashion in only 14 weeks for full-time participants or 24 weeks for part-time. Don't count yourself out. Do what they did and enroll today. Email smartstart@btvi.edu.ds or call 502-6300 so you can take your walk anywhere in life.
Good morning and welcome to Bahamas at Sunrise. We're back and we're dead early on another fantastic Friday. We are at the mid-show. So happy that you stuck with us. My name is Mark Daniels.
And I'm Gabrielle Gardner, and I hope you're still having a happy Friday.
A happy and dry Friday. We talked about the rain earlier, and it seems like from Brother Godfrey we might have some easing up this weekend of the dead wetness. And you can venture out and you can get to the beach and do all the things you need to get in your yard and clean up and do all the things. I know the plants are happy with the rain.
Oh, yeah.
So I've been watching the soursop still. It's still sitting there looking at me. So this rain should have it nice and ready to pick, hopefully by Monday.
It definitely feels cooler already too.
Yeah.
It was pretty hot last week, so I think the rain came to give us a little bit of relief.
Yeah, buddy.
So cool down the earth a little bit so we can actually enjoy the weekend.
This heat is oppressive. And I remember my Grammy saying that the more you sin, the hotter it gets. So we need to have a conversation, Bahamas.
I was actually, I was talking to my friends when it got really hot because I'm like, this is the temperature where my mom starts preaching. Like, if you think it's hot now.
Oh, yeah.
Just wait.
If that don't convince you that you need to do something right, buddy, 'cause I feel like hell reach.
Yes.
But we're looking forward to some sunshine over the weekend so we can get out and do all that we need to do. And speaking of the weekend, if you're looking for something to do, go check out the One Blood Reggae Party happening at the Nassau Cruiseport Amphitheater. Concepts, marketing, it's a wonderful brand. This is a great party to go to. It's a nice vibe. It ain't no combruction and brucka. You go and enjoy some nice music. Take your significant other, all your friends or crew out on Saturday nights at the amphitheater and enjoy One Blood.
That was very well that you put that. We'll also be hearing from the phenomenal performer, Donrica Burrows, in our summer entertainment series. But before all that, we'll take a second look at weather with Godfrey Burnside.
Weather at Sunrise, brought to you by NUA, the hands-on agency.
Thank you, Gabrielle. Good morning, Bahamas. And yes, second look at weather at sunrise. We're going to look at the tropics. We do have a tropical wave. It's midway between the Cabo Verde Islands and the Les Antilles, moving towards the west-northwest. It has a 50% chance of development over the next 7 days. Elsewhere, tropical cyclone formation expected during the next 7 days. On the local scene, still have some low-level troughing, and that's continuing to have some showers and thunderstorms, particularly over the northwest and central Bahamas, but that'll be tapering off by afternoon as the system moves towards the west. High pressure will build, so a lovely weekend in store weather-wise. In your marine forecast today, those winds east to southeast are 10 to 15 knots, sea 2 to 4 feet over northwest and central Bahamas, 15 to 20 knots seas 4 to 6 feet over the southeastern islands. So we do have a caution posted over the southeastern islands. And on Saturday, winds continue east to southeast at 10 to 15 knots, sea 2 to 4 feet northwest Bahamas, but 15 to 20 knots seas 4 to 6 feet over the central and southeastern islands. On Sunday, those winds continue east to southeast at 10 to 15 knots, sea 2 to 4 feet northwest and central Bahamas, easterly at 10 to 15 knots, sea 2 to 4 feet over the southeastern islands. Your tides. You can expect a low tide at 10:08 this morning. Next high tide will be at 4:45 this afternoon. Low gain tonight at 11:17. Sunset, 7:56 this evening. Rises more at 6:35. UV index 8, your water temperature 83 degrees Fahrenheit, honeymoon phase, first quarter. Your external look, high pressure builds across the islands, becomes a dominant weather feature through the weekend. So we're looking at partly sunny skies, hot and humid. There's a chance of a short thunderstorm by afternoon. The temperature daytime be around the 90-degree mark. At nighttime, upper 70s to lower 80s. That puts you up in your final look at weather at sunrise. I'm Godfrey Burnside. Back to you, Mark.
Thank you, Godfrey. FOCOL Holdings Limited launched their new FOCOL Smartpass mobile fueling app that allows for gas purchases at Shell stations on New Providence without having to go to the cashier. Yes, you can purchase your gas from your car on this app. Here to tell us more, Fabian Fernander, he's the Sales and Marketing Manager with Sun Oil Limited, and Edwin Thompson, he's a Retail Territory Manager with Sun Oil Limited. Good morning, gentlemen, and welcome to Bahamas at Sunrise.
Good morning. Good morning, yes.
Good morning. So happy to have you all here. Talking about this new tech that is blowing my mind, and I love it. So can you provide more details about the Smartpass app and how it works, what are the benefits?
Well, definitely, like my son described it to me the other day. He said, Daddy, this is a game changer.
Yeah, right.
And this is what it's all about.
Yeah.
And you said to me just now that, look, I usually use my card when I pull up to the service station. So here's the time now you got to get out your car, walk into the service station, tow a line because there were some other people ahead of you in there. So that takes some time off. You got a meeting to go to. Whereas now, with the FOCOL mobile Smartpass app, you can just scan right at the pump. And you can authorize your pump, put in the amount that you want, get your receipt right there on the spot, and you're on your way.
Man, I love that. I feel like we jumped into the future, this future tech. So what inspired FOCOL to develop this app?
For us, we've been listening to all our customers over the years. We heard about the challenges, the long lines, the queuing. Sometimes, the service champion may take a while to get to their car. So we said, how do we make everything smooth, more efficient, and how do we keep moving forward with technology? So we said, hey, how about we launch an app that allows persons to not have to get out of their car, not have to swipe, not have to worry about the line, and makes everything more efficient.
Man, I love that. I wish everything could be like that. just pull up and swipe from the car, right?
Let's take it one step at a time.
One step at a time. We'll get there. So during the app's launch event, it was mentioned that the app will not replace pump attendants or, was it champions?
Service champions.
Service champions. I love that. So could you clarify how the app will complement the role of the champions and enhance overall service?
Well, okay, the service champion is there. They're there on the forecourt. If you're having a little problem with your app, they can tell you exactly what you need to do. Some people may not be familiar with it, but our service champions are there to give you the full detail. Okay, you may be a person, I don't like credit cards, I don't deal with this, so that service champion is there to greet you, make an offer for you, and give you the service that you need. They would not go away. They will always be there because everybody needs a credit card. But then there's a section of the world who they only dealing with card. They ain't carrying no cash.
Right.
So this app is for those people who want to, and it's simple. You can just go. We have service champions now giving out these little cards at the service station. Right here, we have the QR code on it. So you can just put your camera on that, and it opens up the app, and you can go right there and download the app. Simple as 1, 2, 3.
Simple as 1, 2, 3. I love it. How will the app improve the overall customer experience, and what are some of the features of the app we can look forward to?
Well, like we said, time. Okay, with the credit card use, you have to go inside because we don't have any terminals on the outside. You have to go to the cashier because it's connected to the console. With the app, you now sit in your car, you get out, and you don't even have to come out the car because on the QR code we have the number. If your camera is not working, you can type the number in, and each pump has a specific QR code.
Awesome.
So no two are the same. So if you're sitting at Shell West Bay and you're on pump number 2, and you don't want to get out of your car, it may be raining or whatever, you say to the service champion, what is the number up there, sir? And they'll give you that number, you type it in there, it'll pop up, you're at pump number 2 at Shell West Bay.
I love that.
And then it says select your amount. Screen pulls up, 10, 20, 30, 40, you may want to put in other amounts. So there's a touch button, other amounts, you want to put in $15. And you put in your $15, the nozzle is in the car, the pump automatically starts.
Good to go.
And the beauty of this is, right, let's say you're supposed to give your wife $20 this morning for fuel. You're in a rush trying to get out of the office to get to this meeting. You forget to leave the money home. She call you in a panic. Honey, you didn't leave the money home for me. So you say, oh man, don't worry about that. I have the FOCOL Smartpass out. Pull into our regular Shell station. And once you get there, give me the QR code on the pump. And he can authorize that from his office to start the pump.
That's mind blowing. That was my next question.
That's
because,
it right there, my brother.
You know, I might have asked my wife for $20. So I can put up to the pump, and she just authorize it.
Yeah.
Oh, you hear that, wife? Oh, we ready? We ready? Yeah, I love it. So we live in the digital age now, and when it comes to privacy and security, some people are, a little bit apprehensive at times. How does FOCOL ensure the security of their users' data and privacy?
So one of the things we wanted to make very clear is that, we don't hold any credit card information, and we definitely wanted to make sure that that remains vital. So what we allowed is the banks still hold all the information. We use a third-party approved company with the banks. The charge goes through. We never see the credit card. All it does is authorize on our side. The only data we keep on our side is the person's email and their phone contact. Now, we're not planning on calling you. All of the information is contained in the app. We can do push notifications in the app. If you want to go to the app, you can get your receipts. It's all contained in the app. So our interest is security is first. We want to make sure it's efficient. It's a technology revolutionized, and we keep everything moving smoothly.
That's awesome. That's great to hear. So this app is going to be popular. Everybody's going to be downloading it.
We hope so.
Yeah. So tell us, in the development of the app, what considerations were made for it to be user-friendly for all ages, demographics?
So one of the biggest things for us is we want it to be smooth. So we said, hey, how can we simplify the download process? So it's an easy QR code, or if you don't have a QR code, you can go to your Android or Apple Play Store, type in FOCOL Smartpass, download it. It's only 6 steps to fuel up, open the app, and as Eddie mentioned, you don't have to remember, I'm at Shell pump number 2. You don't have to know the pump number at all. All you do is scan the code, it pops up, you can type in your amount, and I know Eddie mentioned the predetermined amounts, the 20 to 30s. Suppose you only want to put in $21.05. You can type in $21.05, it scans, and I know persons say, hey, what about if my car fills up at $19? What happens to my refund? Where does my money go? It's only a pre-authorization. So what happens is, when you hang up the pump, and the pump only reads $19.35, you only get charged $19.35. You don't have to worry about your refund.
Perfect. And I love that you mentioned it takes dollars and cents, because sometimes you only got $5.
Yeah.
And that's all you got. So I love that. So before we wrap up, how can people learn more about the FOCOL Smartpass app?
Well, like we said, you can just download the app. You can go to Google Play Store or the Apple Store, and you just type in FOCOL Smartpass. It pops up. You download it there. Or we have our service champions now at our service stations. We're giving out these cards with all the information on it. And like you said, put the camera on this QR code right here. It opens it right up to the page, and you're right in there, and you can go ahead and download it, and you're ready to go.
Wonderful. Any closing words from FOCOL to all of our viewers and your customers out there?
Most definitely. As we try to remain the leading fuel petroleum provider, in the Bahamas, we want to say, hey, we're here to make your life easier. We know that we're in a revolutionized era where people are on their smartphones, they're on their tablets all day. So we wanted to make things efficient. So we're here to make your life easier. We're not replacing the service champions, just providing another tool for them to use. But stop at any of our 13 Shell service stations, and we'll be there to the FOCOLSmartpass.com to make your life easier.
Man.
And one thing, we want to encourage our customers that, once you scan your code at the pump and you authorize your pump, we ask you to just pay and put it away. Yeah. Because, we still have some safety issues around the forecourt. We don't want you now, you're pumping on your fuel and you're going, hey man, I'm at Shell, and I'm pumping it. No, we don't want to discourage that for a while, because you could get distracted and don't see what's going on around you. So we want you to be focused, watch your pump, and just sit down, relax. It's there.
Sounds like you got the airplane mode, the gas station mode on the phones, right? That's the next level of technology. But I'd like to thank you both for being here this morning. This has been very informative. So excited. It feels like we're in the future. And I can't wait to pull up to the pump and call my wife and tell her, hey, authorize!
Download the app today.
Download the app today. So thank you both. Fabian Fernander and Edwin Thompson with FOCOL. Thanks for being with us this morning.
Thank you.
You're watching Bahamas at Sunrise, and we'll be right back.
Visit BahamasResidence.com for details.
The Euro device is very affordable. It allows you to increase your internet connectivity. You are able to do away with the buffering, say goodbye to the dead spots. It gives them a much more stable connection. Their customers are able to view their digital menus. The establishment is able to stream. It allows for everyone, the customers and the business operators, to have a much more robust and stable internet connectivity.
Introducing the FOCOL Smartpass app that helps you to fuel up faster. Here's how it works. Download the app on the App Store or get it on Google Play and create your profile with payment details. Visit your nearest Shell station, open the app, scan the pump's QR code, select your payment amount, and begin fueling. Say goodbye to cash and cards because the FOCOL Smartpass offers secure and convenient payment options right at your fingertips. Download FOCOL Smartpass now and fuel up faster today.
Welcome back. As we continue our summer entertainment series, I'm joined by the phenomenal performer, Donrica Donnie Burrows, who has 20 years of experience and has performed with bands such as Falcon Entertainment, Groove Quest, formerly known as Ting and Them, Donnie and Daryl, and now she's part of the Expressions Band.
Correct.
Good morning and welcome to Bahamas at Sunrise.
Morning. Thank you for having me.
It's our pleasure. It's our pleasure. When exactly did you get started?
Well, like most musicians, I would have started in the church.
Right.
So I would have been born and raised in the Church of God Cathedral.
Correct.
And so my grandmother told me that I sang my first solo at the age of 3.
Wow.
Now, I don't know what song that was. I can't remember. It might have been maybe Jesus Loves the Little Children. I don't know.
Church going on.
But it was definitely in the church.
Right. So what made you decide to pursue a career in entertainment?
Well, looking back at a lot of phenomenal female artists back then, I'm thinking about Nita, Sweet Emily,
Right.
Therese. So growing up, I looked at those women and I was like, wow, I can do that. I think I want to do that. And so that would have propelled me, to ask those questions and see, where can I start? Where can I get my footing?
All right, and how do you feel about your career path going so far?
I think I have done pretty well. As you would have mentioned, 20 plus years of experience, and I've been in the bands that you would have mentioned, numerous bands. And I think each time you are part of a band, each band has its own culture, it has its own experience. So that only really, sets you up for better and bigger as you move forward and as I get older.
So if everyone had to describe what kind of music you sing and perform, what would it be?
I would say I can do a lot of, reggae and scrape, of course, reggae, R&B, gospel. I don't do too much jazz, but I will say that whatever the client needs, especially with my private functions, I can do pretty much whatever the client wants.
So are you currently performing on a regular basis anywhere?
Right now, regularly, not so much, maybe Travelers Rest. I used to be at Balmoral every month, but now it's more so private functions.
Right.
So really, that's where it's at right now.
Okay. Well, so what was it like performing this past 50th Independence celebrations at Clifford Park?
Oh wow, that was an experience. It was nervous, it was exciting, but I was honored. I was honored to be a part of the show, and I'm pretty sure that everyone else that was a part of the show probably felt the same way.
Right. So can you share with us any exciting projects that's coming up?
Well, now that you ask, I am working on something currently, so I will say, listen out, keep an ear out for something that'll be coming up, hopefully very soon over the next few months,
Right.
with some original music from me.
So what about any collaborations you see coming up?
maybe one or two. I have in the back of my mind. I like to, keep the secret. But then when it drops, right? So it's like, oh, wow, that's what she was talking about. So just listen out and look for it. It's coming.
And then if persons want to get in contact with you, where could they find you on?
Well, honestly, really and truly, I'm on IG, as most persons, Donrica242. You can also find me on Facebook, Manisha Dawn, because a lot of persons follow me on Facebook. I'm on TikTok as well.
Oh, okay.
So those are the normal platforms that you have to stay current in, right?
Definitely.
So you can definitely find me there.
Well, thank you for joining us today, Donrica.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Here's Donrica Burrows performing Someday. Enjoy.
I know that someday you will want me to hold you. When I'm in love with somebody new, you expect me to be true and go on loving you. Although I'm feeling blue, you think I can't forget you until someday you will want me to hold you. When I am gone with somebody new, although you don't want me now, I get along somehow, and then I want you. I know that someday you will want me to hold you. When I am gone with somebody new, what am I supposed to do with this love I have for you? To my heart I must be true, although I can't forget you until someday you will want me to hold you. When I am strong for somebody new, although you don't want me now, I get along somehow, and then I want you. Woo! Yes! I know that someday you will want me to hold you. When I am gone with somebody new, although you don't want me now, I get along somehow, and then I want you. Though you don't want me now, I get along somehow, and then I want you. Though you don't want me now, I get along somehow, and then I want you.
FOCOL Holdings Limited is proud of its consistent growth and the financial success it continues to bring to many Bahamians who invest in the company. FOCOL is committed to ensuring optimal financial performance for its shareholders. FOCOL's leadership remains focused on superior customer service and operational excellence across all sectors. FOCOL.
welcome back. The Bahamas Red Cross Meals on Wheels program is designed for elderly, shut-ins, and disabled persons. With me now to tell us more are Edison Sumner, President of the Bahamas Red Cross, and Valerie McKenzie, Welfare Manager at the Bahamas Red Cross. Good morning and welcome to Bahamas at Sunrise.
Thank you.
How does it feel to be up early with us this morning to share this good news?
What do you say? It's early, but we're here getting it done.
So the phrase Meals on Wheels, it takes me back, I feel like, to the 90s. It was something very common, I feel like, talked about on TV when it related to the United States. But we have a Meals on Wheels program at the Bahamas Red Cross. Tell us about it and what's the purpose?
So the Meals on Wheels program, as you said in the intro, is a program that supports some of the most vulnerable in our communities who are having a difficulty feeding themselves and their families. So on a daily basis, the Bahamas Red Cross distributes as many as 150 meals per day within a 3 or 4 hour span between, I think it's 11 a.m. and about 2 p.m., where we have meals are prepared by the staff and volunteers at the Red Cross, and those meals are delivered to families throughout New Providence and through some of our family islands as well, Grand Bahama in particular. And we do this because one of the responses of the Red Cross is to be able to provide and support the vulnerable in our communities, not just for natural disasters like hurricanes and the rest of it, but we respond to many, many challenges in society today that the average person might not even be aware that these issues exist in the country. So the Red Cross is here to respond to those needs, and the Meals on Wheels, or our welfare program generally, is one of those areas that we are able to respond to.
And what types of meals are they that you distribute through those communities?
Well, the meals are basically consisting of meat, vegetables, peas and rice, sometimes grits and rice, soup, something to make sure that they get a well-balanced diet.
Now, I know that you said that the meals are delivered every day. Are they delivered to the same people every day? Is there a rotation, or how does that work?
It's the same persons every day because they're on a program. We go to the persons, once they make a call to us, we go to the person's home and make an assessment. And once they have been assessed, we would evaluate them and make sure that they are fit for the program. And once they're on the program, this meal goes to them every day.
So, you know, some organizations might give people groceries, but of course the Red Cross is delivering hot meals. What is the importance of delivering hot meals to those vulnerable persons?
Well, before we actually get on to the other part of it, but we don't only provide hot meals. Ms. McKenzie and her staff also deliver food parcels to persons throughout the country on a monthly basis as well. All right. So while we are doing the daily food feeding programs, we also deliver meals, packaged dry meals to families throughout the country as well on a monthly basis.
Wow.
And it's important because we have to look after the nutrition of our members as well. And these are mostly the elderly persons or people who really just don't have the ability to do for themselves in a lot of ways. So it's important that we can support this. And we're not the only feeding program around, but we are the oldest and I think the largest. And we want to ensure that we can do our part to helping to feed and provide nutrition to people in our community. And hot meals is a big, big part of that. Right?
Would you like to elaborate on the hot meals?
Yeah, but the hot meals, like he's saying, is very nutritious. These are persons that cannot actually go to the store and cook for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So we try to make sure that they are able to get a hot meal every day. And then the food parcel, those are persons that can actually get up and say, okay, I can cook my own meal. I don't need you to bring me a hot meal every day. So we put those persons on our monthly parcel program.
So I know you mentioned, or we mentioned, the elderly as well as the shut-in, but is there a specific eligibility criteria that people have to meet to be part of this program?
Not particularly. Sometimes persons are disabled, they could be 20, 25, and they're disabled. Persons, parents probably might be looking after them as their caretaker, so we will also provide the caretaker with also a meal. So if that person is disabled, the caretaker will also receive a meal. So maybe 2 meals probably might go to that home on a daily basis.
So do these people reach out directly to the Red Cross?
Yes, they do. We have church members would reach out, neighbors, friends, anybody in the community would normally reach out to say, okay, I see this person on the side of the road. Or I know this person is at home by themselves. They're elderly. They cannot feed themselves. So we would reach out to them and we would do that assessment.
I have to imagine that this is a very costly undertaking. How is this program funded?
Well, it's funded through donations, through the support of our community. But I must say that at this point, the resources are being depleted, right? And we've had challenges with our resources, particularly coming out of Dorian. Believe it or not, we're still dealing with Dorian impact.
Wow.
And also COVID impact, and it's draining our resources. So one of the things we want to do today also is to appeal to the community, right? To support the Red Cross in this area. If you're able to provide any kind of food supplies, dry cereals, etc., to let us know so that we can bring them to the Red Cross so that we can prepare those meals every day for the people that need them the most. So the resources are always a challenge, right? And the Red Cross, being the agency that it is, having to respond to so many needs in our community, is always in need of that kind of financial and other resources support. So if anyone out there is able to support the Red Cross as far as our drive for more supplies to restock our supply store, then we would encourage you all to please come and do so. We can certainly use the support at the Red Cross.
Beyond the funding, are there any particular challenges that you have with this initiative?
Basically, the challenge is basically the funding. And then volunteers coming to package. But once we get the funding and we get the resources, then we're able to move forward with the program and maybe even add more persons onto the program who are really in need of the assistance.
And if somebody does want to support this particular program, do they just call and say, I have funds, but I want them to go specifically to Meals on Wheels? Or how do you sign up to be a volunteer?
You can go to our website, www.bahamasredcross.org, and sign up to be a volunteer, even sign up to be a donor. You can make your donations through that website, or you can call us 323-737-034 directly, and you can just ask to be a volunteer or come and make a donation.
And I guess I'll just ask both of you to answer this personal question. Why should you be part of the Bahamas Red Cross? What do you find most rewarding about it?
What I find most rewarding is I love helping people. And once I am able to help someone, I think that goes a long way. Because we try to mold persons to try not to even depend on us too much. So if we can alleviate some of that headache with trying to find a meal. Some people, even unemployed persons, come to us. We try to make sure that they probably get some type of service. If we can't provide it, then we make referrals maybe to social services. So just being there for them, being able to assist them, makes a great.
The Red Cross really, it stretches you, right, to appreciate the vulnerabilities that happen in our community. And I think anyone who is able to provide any support, whether it's coming in as a volunteer, whether it's providing resources, whether it's sending their staff to come and support the Red Cross, they will find that it's going to open their eyes to a lot of what's happening, and it's going to really tug at your heart that this is an organization that really has been established in this country for almost 90 years, being incorporated for about 50 years of those 90 years, and you would realize that over that period of time, this organization has supported so many people, so many initiatives all over the country. So I joined it because I felt that there was something that I can give back to the community outside of being in the business field. And coming out of some of these vulnerable communities myself, I have a great appreciation for what's needed out there. And this organization really provides an avenue for us to be able to respond to the people in our community. So it's not a selfish organization. You've got to be selfless. You've got to be prepared to put your hands in and get your hands dirty, so to speak, to get the work done. But it's so gratifying to be able to see the tangible results of what you're doing by the way people respond to the needs in our community. So if you're out there and you want to volunteer, we're always open for good volunteers coming in to support the organization.
Well, I'm sure that the folks at the Red Cross will be grateful for you, as well as everybody who's just being blessed by this initiative.
Absolutely.
The Bahamas Red Cross is an iconic organization, has existed and served the public for such a long time. So we thank you for everything that you do and are continuing to do.
Good. Thank you. Thanks for having us.
And thank you for watching Bahamas at Sunrise. We'll be right back. it has been another fantastic Friday on Bahamas at Sunrise. So many exciting things on today's show, and it's got me ready for a fantastic weekend.
We're ready for a nice dry weekend, right?
Yes.
According to Godfrey. So we could get out there and I didn't want to tell everybody to go wake in the yard because you can do other things. Get out there. They got the reggae party going on at the amphitheater. There's an all-white party going on at Fusion, a fundraiser for a STEM initiative. And just go out there and love yourself. And we'll see you on Monday, right?
Yes, have a great weekend.
See you on Monday.